A year ago, I had no clue how to raise money. I saw a bunch of people raise a bunch of money and thought to myself, there is no way I can pull this off. Now, a year later, in the past week, I've raised over $1 million in literally 2 text messages. And I want to dedicate this video to showing you guys the 3 pillars that I have used and developed over the last year to get to where I am now so that you guys can do the exact same thing, or maybe even better. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and if you're new here, I'm the guy that people now go to if they want to make double-digit returns on their money fast. But that was not always the case. And so in this video, I'm going to break down to you guys 3 pillars, 3 staples that I've used over the last year to develop myself from somebody that knew absolutely nothing to somebody that is now raising a bunch of money and helping other people make money on their money every single day. This is incredibly important for all of you guys to understand because there's a whole lot of misinformation out there and mispractice when it comes to trying to raise money. And so I want to break down what I'm doing, what I've seen work, so that you guys can have an understanding of what the heck is going on. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is one of my favorites. I love this with anything and everything, and I'm going to classify this as evidence. I have evidence that I can do what I say I'm doing. It's one of the most important things when it comes to business, when it comes to money, when it comes to anything that is being traded or sold. In my personal opinion, nothing is better than evidence. Not your word, not anything else. It's simply, can you prove that you can do and have done what you say you have done? And so for a lot of you guys watching this video, I would argue you probably can't right now. And that's okay. A year ago, I couldn't either. But understanding this concept is going to help you get some direction and understand where you want to go, what you want to move toward to be able to do that in the future. So I want to break down evidence, both in how you can use it now and how you can use it in the future once you make some progress, potentially, depending on where you're at. But here's why evidence is so important. When people see me talking about and making money on my money in a certain way, right? For me, obviously, it's generally transactional lending. When they see me talking about that and showing what I'm doing, they can understand and agree that it works, right? As long as it's not fake, as long as I'm not fabricating stuff, they know that that stuff actually works. And so I don't have to get on the phone and say, this is kind of how it works and this is what I was thinking. It's not this is what I was thinking. It's this is a deal I closed today. This is a deal I closed yesterday. This is how it works. Here's some hiccups. Here's some things we went through. And here's the proof that I can do what I say I can do. It's incredibly important, and it allows people to have extreme confidence in you. Does it mean that nothing's going to go wrong? Absolutely not. There's always going to be things that go wrong. But having an understanding backed by actual experience is going to take you a long way when it comes to working with people. Because I'll tell you guys right now, when somebody tries to borrow money from me, borrow money with me, even bring me a deal, if they only talk about the upside, major red flag. Major red flag. In fact, if you want to sell me on something, I want you to just come to me and talk about all the downsides first, because I want to understand what I'm getting into, right? If I'm not willing to risk it on the downsides, then I do not care about the upsides. I say this all the time to people. If somebody offers you 1,000% return on something, but obviously it's not safe on the front side, then who the heck cares, right? I could offer you 1,000,000% return because your money's going to get lost, you dummy. So don't pay attention to the end until you get to the beginning and figure out what could actually go wrong. And this is what I do with my evidence base, is actually say, this is the experience I have. These are the things I've done. Let me show you. And that goes a long way. And so that's the first thing, right? That's a simple breakdown of the first thing, is simply having evidence. Now, for a lot of you guys, like I said, you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have any evidence. I haven't done anything yet. Great. That's probably the majority of people. And that's certainly where I was a year ago. So what do? You find somebody that has evidence. Shocker, right? Crazy concept. Go find somebody that has evidence. For example, me. I didn't used to, but now I do. And you guys can work with me and utilize my credibility. But if you hate me and you're annoyed by me and for some reason you're still watching this video, you can go talk to somebody else, but use other people's credibility. My partner did a deal last week. My partner has done 10 deals this month. Whatever it may be, go use that person's credibility and become their partner and do it together so that you can leverage that. And guess what? After you leverage them a couple times, guess who's now got evidence? You do. So it works out perfectly. And that is how you establish evidence. The first pillar of raising money is showing people that you can do what you say you can do. Now, the second one that is so important that comes from evidence, the second pillar that I talk about, is credibility. And I want to talk to you guys about how I have used credibility, because as always, I don't know how other people do it. I'm sure they do it better than I do, but I can talk to you guys about what I'm doing. And here's what I do. I talk about my wins, and I talk about my losses, and I do it publicly. That is how I establish credibility. So if somebody sees my name, right, they see my name on a document, they see me requesting money or using money or working on a transaction, whatever it may be, they can type my name in and they can go watch videos just like this one. They can see my social media. They can see the interactions that I'm having. And now they can see that I teach other people how to do this. Now, if you're listening to this, you tell me that that's not a great sell, right? If the first thing you do is look up me for a potential lending transaction and you see a big list of videos that I have on YouTube of teaching other people how to lend money, then do you think I have established more credibility, not necessarily enough, but more credibility than I would have had I not had those videos? I think we all know the answer to that question. And if you think I'm just coming up with this as a concept, absolutely not. I have had multiple people call me, message me, request money from and or with me that have said the reason why they came to me is because they saw that I not only was doing it, but I was also teaching it, meaning that I had a level of mastery above just trying things out, right? Now, you could just be a garbage teacher. I don't know what I'm going to call myself, but you guys can make that decision for yourself. But I did not start teaching this stuff until I at least had enough evidence, enough experience to actually go off of and share those experiences and not just be talking theory, because I hate when people talk theory. And that's what I did, right? So by doing that, I now have a database online, which is where everything is stored and lives forever. Don't screw it up. But if you have that stuff online, especially not if you're just talking about what you're doing, which was the first thing I talked about with evidence, but also have the credibility to now take that and teach it to other people, then that's going to go a long way. And one of the biggest ways that I do that, shameless plug, is my free financial foundations group on Skool. Link right here. You can see the banner popping up. Jump in there because it's free, and this is where I teach everybody how to lend in the ways that I do, the mistakes I make, and everything else along the way. There's over 1,000 people at the time of shooting this video in that group learning with me and working through that together, and that's why it exists. And guess what? All of those people, they can see my credibility too. So it's pretty effective, and that is now one of the biggest ways that I raise money, is by going in there, teaching people. They see that I know what I'm talking about, and then they want to come work with me so that we can make money together. When you raise money, it's not like you're stealing the money. You're doing that person a favor. You got to recognize that. If you are effectively raising money and going and getting returns on that money, then you are doing them a favor, a service. It's fantastic, and everybody makes money. So it's great. And you might know that ahead of time, right? In your head, you're like, oh, I would make this person so much money if they would just trust me. Don't blame it on them. It's your fault. You have to establish that trust. You have to gain that from them. It's their money, right? A lot of people have worked years and years and potentially decades to raise whatever the money is that they're going to be lending to you. So if you don't think that's a big deal, then you need to slow your roll. This is a big deal when people bring you money. And so you need to put in the work. And if you're not willing to have some sort of evidence and put in the work to establish your credibility, then you probably don't deserve the money in the first place. So take that to heart. Take that, note it, put it away for later, because you're going to need to know that. Now, the third thing that I, again, push on everybody in financial foundations, all the people I work with and teach about lending, is effective systems. Effective systems have been a huge part of my success. What do I mean by that? If somebody comes to me, let's say, for example, that they are going to ask me for money, right? They're going to ask me for money, or actually, for this example in the video, we'll say that they are going to send me money, right? They're going to let me use their money to go make more money. My systems prove to them that not only have I done this in the past, not only am I showing other people, right? I've already done the first and second step, but I also do this at a high enough volume to where I have paid for and built out at least detailed systems on how it works. So picture yourself right now. Somebody comes to you right now and says, I want to lend you $100,000 for whatever the deal is. What does the process look like? And you're like, let me get back to you on that. I need to figure out what that would do, and I don't know where I would send it. Yeah, good luck getting that money, right? But if somebody came to me and said, hey, I have $100,000, what can you do with it, and what does that look like? And I say, cool. So first step is you go to my website, you click this link, you fill this form out about the information. We want to understand how quickly you can get it to us. Then we're going to send you an email confirmation. We're going to break down the deal. We're going to CC you on the email. I've got it all laid out on the website. Go there and check it out. If I have an answer, and I have the systems in place to back up that answer, again, huge bump in the right direction. People are going to see that and be like, oh, okay, well, either one, this dude is really good at pre-planning, right? And figuring stuff out and actually has no proof whatsoever. But if we pass the other two steps and we say, okay, cool. Not only is this guy doing what he says he's doing, and he's showing other people how to do it, but he has the systems in place to do it at scale. Because if you're building a business, a true business, then you are going to attempt to scale at some point. You want to hire people. You want to make more money. You want to do more deals. And to do that, you need systems. So if somebody has systems and you have a knowledgeable lending partner coming in, they are going to see and recognize that those systems are in place. And almost more importantly than having the systems is just not having systems, right? Because if you don't have systems and somebody comes to ask you, what's the next steps? What do I do? And you don't know, it's going to be really hard to recover from that. I've seen it before, especially when people are requesting to borrow money from you. If you don't have the systems in place and you're like, oh yeah, I do this all the time. And they say, really? Okay, let's do it right now. And you're like, ooh, I'm not sure what the next step is. That's not going to end well for you, most likely. So don't do that, right? And like I said, I've seen that all the time where people run into that. And that's why one of the challenges that I give people, whether you're borrowing, lending, working with somebody, whatever it may be, is know what the heck is going on, know your processes, know your fees, know the next step, so that if somebody does ask you to do something, you can do what you say you're going to do, right? The easy example I use all the time in lending is if you say that you lend transactionally, right? Let's say you lend earnest money. If I asked you right now to lend earnest money for a deal in 30 minutes, do you have the systems and a plan in place to be able to accomplish that? It's all about preparation, right? It's all about preparation and understanding what's going on. So my systems are the third pillar that I have used to be able to raise capital. And when you bundle all of those things together, they don't just add 1 + 1 + 1. They compound, right? They multiply off of each other, because if you just have credibility, that's the start. But if you have credibility and you teach other people, those two things bond together and make an even stronger, more powerful argument. And if you have both of those and you have the systems to scale it at scale in a business, all those things together, is it everything you need? Absolutely not. But it is for sure the three most powerful things that I have done and used in my business to be able to bring money in and show people that no matter what, I'm going to protect their money, I'm going to make them money, and we're going to do great together. And I love doing it because it's so fun to have the skills and systems in place to not only be able to make money for myself and grow my own businesses, but make money for other people that otherwise might have had idle cash, might have been investing in something that wasn't doing very well for them, or simply just weren't satisfied with what their money was currently doing. It's a great thing. The best types of systems are where every single person wins. And although that's not always going to be the case, we can work towards it. We can do our best to make that happen. That's what I'm trying to do, and I want to help you guys do the same. So if you're struggling to raise money, I'm going to leave you with this. Raising money requires all of those three pillars. But on top of that, it requires you to just be a human being. It requires you to be able to form, establish, and maintain relationships with people, because if you just ask people for money, and that's it, you are not getting their money. It's not ever going to work. And if it does, it's probably not going to end well. So focus on forming relationships now. If you're in your head thinking the same thoughts that I had, which is, well, I don't need the money yet. Do you want to build a business? Do you want to buy real estate? Do you want to quit your job? Then you're going to need the money eventually. So get started now on these three pillars. Get started on forming relationships, on being a human being, and just talking and understanding people, and actually, truly wanting what's best for them and not what's best for you. People can hear that. People can feel that. So focus on that. Focus on what's best for other people. Form those relationships. Establish those pillars. And a year from now, 3 months from now, a month from now even, you'll be well on your way to being able to raise money effectively and finding the systems, the processes, and the deals to go make that money into more money. Have some fun with it, work hard on it, and let me know what else I can do to be helpful to you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you next week in the next video. Peace out.